Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 5th, 2023 Facilities Committee meeting. Starting with a roll call, I'll go around the table, starting with Ms. Murphy.
Present.
Oh, okay. Ross Whiting, present.
Woodstein present.
Leah Mulhern present.
Charles Burdell Williams present.
Dan Schultz present.
Jenny Lumen present.
Zachary Epps present.
Thank you. May I have we do have a quorum, and may I have a motion to approve the minutes from the November Facilities Committee meeting?
So moved, Jenny Lumen.
Second.
All right, all those in favor of approving those minutes, thank you for the motion.
Aye.
All right, approved unanimously. I will pass it over to Mr. Holman for our presentation for December.
Good evening, all. Welcome to the members of the board. I want to start with the domestic boiler repair update. Here is an update on the domestic hot water boiler. Due to the age of the system and the amount of times that we have replaced the heat exchangers, this will be the third time on boiler number 1 and the second time on boiler number 2. The heat exchanger on boiler number 2 was replaced prior to my tenure. The department met at the high school over the last 2 weeks with vendors, and we're currently waiting for their proposals. The current plan was installed without consideration for sustainability. No fault of anyone's, just that sustainability is at the forefront now of all building and mechanical designs. Next slide, please. The revision architectural team will be in the district on December 7, 2023. This company is committed to revisioning and restoring the balance between natural built and social environments. The facilities department continues to provide support to Karen Saffron and the recycling team. We are eagerly awaiting the team from revision to visit CHS, Shellham Elementary, Myers, and Cedarbrook. The reason for their visit is to tour our district and develop a sustainability plan while also pointing out the low-hanging fruit that we can immediately take advantage of. Next slide, please. The sustainability efforts in CSD are ramping up. This is Cedarbrook Gym, where we were able to take advantage of considerable savings in our PECO bill by completing this relighting project. This project was completed the week of Thanksgiving, and the estimated savings is $5,498 by not waiting until next year, and $3,480 in maintenance over 10 years. These lights have a life expectancy of 15 years. This is a home run for the district. Next slide, please. This is the playground at Elkins Park. The facilities department was made aware of the deficiencies and made the necessary corrections. But we also made improvements to the playground with interactive tic-tac-toe panels and also barriers to ensure the safety of our EP students. Next slide, please. I'm so far away, I can't read them here, but okay, I'll read on my screen. We are working with Portable Container Service and C-Box to remove all containers placed at the elementary schools. The additional containers at Glenside and Winco are scheduled to be relocated to the high school in the near future. Next, Abitibi containers have been removed from all district properties. These are the green and yellow containers at Elkins Park, for example, the recycling containers that were outside the cafeteria. Due to the companies went out of business and we had no way to contact them, and they weren't getting service for them, so we just got rid of it. CHS field updates. This was a concern of Ms. Knox from last meeting. Update on the practice field condition. Upon inspection, the soil did have rocks in it. Late in the summer, we had the company revisit and had them pick out the rocks. The field has been inspected by us and it is level. However, as it has been stated in previous meetings, it's a process to having a healthy field. This process can take 2 to 3 years, so I'm going to ask for your patience as we move along in this process. This is prime time to oversee the field, and we will be taking advantage of this window. We have also ordered ground coverings to protect the progress made. Ms. Knox, I would like to thank you for bringing the pest issues at the high school to my attention. I have met with Athletic Director Pat Fleury. We have developed a plan to ensure that we have processes in place. The processes that we have instituted is that our pest control company will provide exterior bait boxes for the perimeter of the building. We are also performing a mass trapping in the locker rooms and also a deep cleaning this weekend and sealing up any openings in the walls. This will hopefully ensure our success. And that's my, what do you think? Any questions?
Yep, I will go to the board first for questions. Do you all have any questions?
Just one question, thank you for that update. What's in those storage boxes that are moving then to the high school?
So they're empty. We have emptied them all out. So we're just relocating them to high school because of an upcoming project at the high school. So just we own them, so we're gonna reuse them. You know.
Thanks.
Mhm.
Additional board questions, Mr. Schultz.
Question, and I'm speaking with context of Myers specifically, just because I know that that storage facility was taking up a fair amount of space in the playground. I'm curious, are there, I know we're doing a feasibility study for larger concepts analysis of our facilities, but in terms of elementary school, for instance, playground space or things that this is now freeing up, what is, or is there a process for looking at that? Like smaller scale, we're not talking multi-millions, but we are still talking about significant enough potential investment.
That's going to be something that I'm going to get to revisit us with, because that's their expertise. That is within their school of expertise. So I want to get back to them for them to develop something for us.
That's great. And I'll also add part of why that is particularly great is just as we're going forward into this climate future where things are hotter, I'm going to be really interested to see if they recommend getting rid of certain blacktops or adding more green space to our grounds. That'll be great to see. Thank you.
Yep.
Any additional board questions? All right, go to the.
Just kind of a tag on to the revision, just excited to have them coming this week, especially with that idea, not just the bigger project, but the what could we do right now? I know, Mr. Holman, that you're so good at finding that low hanging fruit and getting it done with our own staff if possible, as soon as possible. So excited to see what we may find from that, you know, could really improve our sustainability efforts in the now, not just in the future. So thank you.
Yes, second to that. Any additional board questions? Comments? All right, go to the community. I don't see anybody online. So if there are any community questions, yes, please.
Good evening, Karen Knox, like to happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Mr. Holman, thank you for responding to the questions. So I just want to touch on first the practice field. So the practice field is still not in use as of right now, and perceivably will not be used for the rest of the school year.
Correct.
Okay.
It's going to be reseeded and then covered.
Okay.
Yep.
And the proper updates, we're expecting a 2 to 3 year process for just the practice field, or is this also the main stadium field?
Just a practice field at this time.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my son's a sophomore, so 2 to 3 years we will be removed from the district, so that's not going to help us as we are currently here. So it's a little bit disheartening to hear. I know it's out of your control, but I just feel like it's a shame that we have a great athletic program at our school, and that these kids don't have the proper facilities to compete. We have to overhear complaints from visitors from other school districts, as well as referees, about the poor conditions of our facilities and what they have to walk into. So to hear that this is going to be extended for another 2 to 3 years is just a letdown to the parents, especially for me, because this is my only son. So at this point do I leave him under these conditions, or do I move into a better condition? That's where I'm at this point. So that's very disheartening to hear, and I'm not attacking you, I just want to make sure that's known from a parent perspective. As far as the pest control, thank you very much for the big boxes, and you said there'll be deep cleaning. Is it just in the locker room or the entire school?
Just a locker room.
Okay, because I'm not sure if you've been told that these critters are also seen in the classrooms. So I think this is a infestation throughout the entire building. And I know it's gonna take time and the big boxes will probably help, but we're dealing with messy teenagers, so I can just imagine what's in some of these lockers, that probably have leftover food and God knows what stacked up in there. So if we're not, I don't know if there's a plan that can be in place, if the parents can help us say, we're going to do locker clean out weekend or something, because mice are attracted to warm areas and clutter. And I can just imagine how cluttered a regular teenager's locker might be. So we can deep clean the locker room, but if the rest of the building is not being properly treated to really correct this issue, I don't see it helping. Because again, my last point was the health risk of the mice urine and the feces and what that does for respiratory issues. So it's not just in the locker room, it's probably throughout the entire school. So what can we do to try to get a hold of this issue? Whether it's parents or students, no, I think it's well beyond a locker room at this point. And the kids, I've seen videos of the mouse running around the classroom. So I think we need to go beyond the locker room. And I'm willing, if you have to come in on the weekend, if I have to do it, I'm willing to come in and help do a locker clean out, as much as I'm afraid of those things. But if it helps for health-wise, safety-wise, I have no problem coming to do that. I'm sure other parents have no problem coming to do that. So I just want to make that point for the past problem in the high school.
So that's the best practice that always happens prior to winter break.
Okay.
And if we need to, and that's all schools, not just the high school, in terms of cleaning out the lockers.
Okay.
So that nothing is left over an extended period of time. But if that's something that we need to look at increasing as a result of what you're explaining, then that's not an issue with us coordinating with our building level principals to make sure that happens. I know that we had added additional staff at the high school, especially during community lunch, to help with disposing of trash immediately after the lunch periods as well. So there are other precautionary measures that are being taken. But we're going to continue to investigate and monitor. And I've not been in any school, unfortunately, that hasn't had an issue. I'm just, in my experience, I can only speak my lived experience. Doesn't make it right, but we are trying to do what we know we can to be proactive. I have a meeting with my student advisory on the 7th, and that's one of the things I'm gonna bring to their attention around school beautification, et cetera, but that will fall under that umbrella, to get student voice on what are some of their thoughts around what we can do differently that we aren't currently doing. So this is ongoing. No one wants to see any rodent, period. So let's be clear with that. So we're gonna do everything we can to address it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Knox. Clear. No other comments. There are no other agenda items. I will ask for a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
So moved, Jenny Lumen.
Second?
No.
Thanks, Zach. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.